Right, so I came out to this job probably about a month ago and replaced the valve, replaced the cover. As you can see, I left it here, and this water heater is still shutting down, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on with it. So the board is not coming up. With my little voltage cheater box here. You see it? So we're gonna change the board. Actually, first of all, let's test the thermopile voltage. While we're here, so standard digital multimeter. You put it on DC 2000 because you're measuring less than a volt. So hopefully you got a good shot of that. Use a couple of test leads that look like this. So for the test leads, you take the test lead. This is the ground. The ground is white, and the positive is red. And that's what we're showing. So hopefully you guys can see that. Looks like plenty of thermopile voltage. Alright, just keeps going and going and going and going. So we're probably going to hit like 630 or something like that. Let's see what we got. So yeah, I came out to this job, 6:47. Came out to this job, started filming, and my camera died. So that's why you didn't see it, but you get to see it now. So changed the valve. SDG&E had come out here and said the valve needed to be replaced. So that's what we did. We can actually check this valve for ohm too. I find that that's pretty unreliable. There's a link on my YouTube page to a bunch of Bradford White videos, and they show you how to check ohm on a valve. So you can check to see if the valve is out of range, and we can do that here in a minute. So we're at 691, so that's 692. So we are at plenty of thermopile voltage. Just kind of give you a little shot here, show you how to do that. I just use this clamp, makes it super easy. The sight glass is pretty dusty, so we're not going to be able to see a flame, but we know the flame's going. 697, it's in pretty good shape. So let's test that old valve for ohm real quick. So what you do is you put it on ohm. I think you want 2000 on ohm. See if I can capture all this. And you put the ground to the bottom. Then we got 17. Yeah, I don't think we want our numbers to be that high. There you go. So, I don't know if you can see it, but the range should be between 11 and 13. So we got 12.5, and we got 12.5. So this valve is good, according to that test. So close to 13, but not 13, so 12.4. Yeah. Usually when I do an ohm test on all my valves, they're always over 13. They're like 13.4 or 13.2, and they still work. So I don't know what that's worth for you, but that is a way to test the valve. So obviously if you get 14 or you get 9 or something like that, you definitely got a bad valve. So we're gonna go with the cover probably not being good on this valve for some reason, because it's not coming up. We know we got thermopile voltage. I'm actually editing a video right now where I test the thermopile voltage and the voltage is fine, and there's something wrong here. Right, so the wires are loose, could be this. So if you pull these out without using a pair of needle nose pliers, you can eventually wiggle these things and beat them up, and the wires just get a little bit loose and it loses connection. So we'll see what happens here. Here's the old valve cover. I don't know if we want to use that, so we'll use this one right here. The reason I use this one, it does not have a sensor on the bottom, so it should work. If it had the sensor, then we'd get a sensor error. So there's basically two kinds of boards for these Honeywell valves, and one has the sensor and one does not have the sensor. And there's another board, it's actually black, the whole thing is black, and those go on like 100-gallon water heaters. And the temperature ranges are a lot higher, so maybe if it's a commercial grade or something at a restaurant, it has to have super high water temperature. So I think like the minimum temperature is like 160 degrees, and then it goes up to quite a bit hotter than that. So if I were to put one of those covers on a regular residential water heater, it could burn somebody, right? So I have seen that black cover before. I thought it was pretty cool, just the color, and actually was reading the manual and then realized that the temperature ranges it was for a commercial. So I had it on my water heater for a while, but I never got burned. So I don't know what that means. So let's see. Yeah, just clicked over. One. I don't know if you guys can see that. One. Alright, came right up. So what does that tell us? That tells us that the voltage from the thermopile, which is generated by the flame, so it converts the flame into electricity. That electricity is less than a volt. Anything higher than 1 volt, 999 millivolts, if it clicks up to 1, this board will not work, and it'll work as low as, I think, 250 millivolts. But a standard new thermopile will come in at about 750, 800 millivolts. And if you clean yours up, I highly recommend it. If you're getting low thermopile voltage, you just take it out and clean it up with like a bench grinder with a wire wheel or some sandpaper, and you can add like 250 millivolts to it. So before you run out and buy one, because they're like $35, $45, $55 for a new pilot assembly, just try cleaning it up. And you can take it apart and reassemble it pretty easily without destroying it. Let's see if we can Yep, still got status light blinking once every 3 seconds. There we go. So, I don't know what the deal is here. We're taking this valve with us because we know this valve is good. A little consolation prize. Maybe I should test this valve, huh? See what this valve is. Maybe this valve is bad. Alright, we'll do that. So we'll shut it down. And let me show you what I do. This door is already loose, so I don't beat that up anymore. And I gotta pull the screw. I really should have done this when the cover was off. That's okay. You always want to take this cover off square if you can. I learned that from the Bradford White videos. I guess if you wedge it, you can bend these little prongs. So let's see what we got. I'm going to put the camera on the digital multimeter. Ooh, we got 12.6. And we got 12.5. So we're okay. Put the cover back on. I always kind of get it lined up a little bit with the prongs so you can kind of wiggle it just a little bit and then click it back into place. Could be a little intimidating if you don't get it lined up right. You'll bend or break off those prongs, and if you do that, then the valve is basically useless. That's kind of a crazy angle for you. So yeah, I gotta make a video on how to test the thermistor. So the thermistor is that little wire. It's basically the temperature sensor for the water. And there's a good Bradford White video on it. He has these little test leads that actually fit inside, but it's very similar. So you put the ground in the center. There's 3 little areas to test, and you put the ground in the center, and then you test the left side and the right side for ohm, and those numbers should be pretty identical. And I think they come in at like I don't know, like I'm trying to remember. I think it was like 1035, and then the other side should be like 1035. So there's 2 sides to that sensor inside the water heater, a left and a right, and those 2 have to be within ohm of each other. If one's out of ohm, then it'll give you that code 5, and that usually happens when water leaks in and shorts it out, because it doesn't have that little metal cap on the end. I think his clicker was pretty bad, if I remember correctly. That's why I left that there. Right, we'll take this clicker with us. Leave those 2 there with the clicker. Take my clicker. Okay, just turned over. Once every 3 seconds it's flashing. Take my word for it. I'm sure you heard that. And that's it. So what's causing this thing to shut down? Couldn't tell you. I think my next trip out here I'd probably clean the combustion chamber. It might be starving of oxygen. There's probably a lot of soot inside there because you can see the sight glass is really dirty. I don't have a compressor with me, so I can't do that at this particular point in time. I'm not getting paid for this trip back out. So it's not like I want to do the minimum, but I just don't have the capability because there's no electricity over here for me to plug my little compressor. And I do have a storage tank. I need to get that tank. I used to do a lot of off-roading, so I've got one of those like 10-gallon compressed air storage tanks that I've started using for water heater service. Works really good. Has like 800 psi, so I can really blast these things and blow them out real good. Just so you guys know, these valves are terrible. These little drain valves, they tend to leak. This is like a 2015 Rheem. He said it was only a couple of years old, but it's definitely more than a couple years old. It's 8 years, so that is out of warranty. And we are up and running. You can barely see the light. It's because of all the daylight, but it's flashing. I put it on B so she get plenty of hot water. We've got the right line in here, right size line. This one over here just works for some reason, the exact same model. So who knows, something's going on with the valve, I guess. But it could be that there's like a flame arrestor. There's a little screen inside there, and if that screen gets blocked with enough dust, it starves it out of oxygen, and it can cause the water heater to shut down abruptly, and you never really get any codes. You never really get any flashing codes. Alright, thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Hopefully it helps somebody out. And feel free to share it. You can just click the share and copy the link, and that'll do it. You don't actually have to share it with anybody. And you guys have a great day, and thanks for watching. Really appreciate it.